All right, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Before I get into the video, I want to say, yesterday, Fig and I, we went to a spot called The Garage, and then some Italian stuff that I can't pronounce. What is it? I'm pretty sure that was it. Sounded very similar to that. But we went there. Great food, great atmosphere. It was in Coronado, down there in San Diego. We did a food review. We had fun. As soon as you're done watching this video, do me a favor, go over there and watch that video. I think you guys will enjoy it. We had some different stuff on there that we've never had before. And we discussed it. We want to start doing that. Start doing different types of food. And you guys could give us suggestions as well. After you watch that video on Food and Fallons, give us suggestions of different types of foods you guys would like us to try, and we'll definitely do that. Now, that said, today's video is going to be a serious topic, as most of them are on this channel. I did another video before on when my own crew tried to turn on me. And this is going to be a second attempt by the same dudes. And this time I'm going to go a little bit more into detail. Let me wipe. Hold on. I don't like the way that looks. Hold on. Oh, that's just the way it looks, huh? And let's just go in a little bit more into the dynamics. So I had come down from Pelican Bay. And I had mentioned before that Sea Yard in New Folsom, that actually was for many years for the Southerners considered a victim yard. You know, I heard on Paradigm Media News when he was saying that he had heard that term and he didn't know what that meant. And I'll tell you what usually that means when a vato from Southern California uses that term. It means that the vatos from Southern California that are on that facility usually got whacked off of a different yard. And we're over there hanging out, a.k.a. hiding out. So that's what we considered a victim yard. So for the longest time, Sea Facility in New Folsom was considered a victim yard. There was a curfew on that yard. If you were from down south, you had a certain amount of time that you could be there. And if you passed that time, there were serious consequences for you, waiting for you in Ad Sag. Or if you transferred out, they were going to be waiting for you on another yard. It was also a stronghold for the raza from Northern California. I mean, they had that place because they had, you know, the Southerners that were there. We knew that if a camarada landed there, the vatos from Southern California that were already there had already, you know, planted roots there. They were going to let the raza from Northern California know. If anybody that knows what people throw that word camarada around, but in prison it definitely has a meaning. And these dudes would know when a camarada landed and would let the raza from Northern California know, like, that's a camarada right there. You guys might want to get him before he gets his hand on a knife, because he's gonna get off. And they were doing that to us, right? And, you know, we were sitting in Ad Sag and we'd get a list of, you know, because when dudes would come through from like B Yard and get sent out there if they were youngsters, we would tell them, these are targets for you, eh? You know, if you want to hang out and try to make some feria and, you know, play out a little bit of your curfew time, go ahead. Do not let these vatos know your plans. Play dumb. But before you leave, ask people, like that day, hey, Holmes, look, this spot ain't right. I'm going to take off right now. Do you want to go with me? If they say no, we want to know the names. So make sure you have the names, the auditors, all that. So that's how Sea Facility was, right? So as I'm leaving the shoe in 2001, I know I have to go to Sea Facility because I have a victim, somebody that I had whacked years prior, a homie. He was good, you know, but we whacked him. He was on B Facility. So they weren't going to allow me to go to B facility. So I needed my directives and, you know, what is the status? What are we doing with that facility? I was told specifically, you know what time it is, Holmes. Get down there. There was a few of us that were going to be leaving, right? So it was get down there, see for yourself. If we can snatch the yard up, set up base, and start making feria there, that's what we want. If you feel that it is not a place, it's not the proper environment for us to set up, get your crew together and whack as many motherfuckers as you can. So that's what I went down to New Folsom with. And this was back when there were still llaveros. I had no interest whatsoever in taking on that headache. Got down there. Immediately upon arrival, I knew things weren't right. A lot of times you can tell just by the care package, right? If you're in a place that's running smooth, you're going to have your care package and be cool. But not only that, you know, again, and I want to preface this. I was nobody, right? I want to make sure people understand whatever authority I had, it was nothing in the grand scheme of things. But it was made aware prior to me leaving that I would be landing there. Normally when that happens, when you know, people with that kind of, you know, when the legends let whoever's in play know, hey, you know, a friend of mine's coming, and you land in a place and you don't get a package that warrants a response, you know, that a package that should reflect the respect that you got for that message. Whoever sent that message, you would act in an according way, right? And when I got there, and it wasn't like that. I knew, okay, this place obviously they have a different mentality here, and within 2 weeks there was 9 of us that came down from Pelican Bay Shoe. This was right on, you know, the riot had just happened before, you know, the year before in Pelican Bay. We were all coming out of the shoe. We're going down there, and we got out there, man, and immediately upon our arrival, all the bloqueros, the guys that had blocks for the llavero, came running to us. We know you guys are going to fucking clean this place up. We don't want to get whacked, Holmes. Look, this is what these vatos been doing. This is what they've been telling us to do. And we were just like, damn, man. These vatos' crew is fucked up. They immediately ran to us, gave us who was doing what, who was hitting. It was like, wow. So I remember engaging these dudes in conversation and making it clear. You know what's expected of you. You know what you're supposed to do. And I don't want your job. I'm going to set up shop. I'm going to make some feria. I'm going to show you vatos some love. You know, your tios, I'll show them love. But all I ask is that, you know, this place is a safe environment for us to do what we got to do. They were letting vatos slam in the day room, slam on the yard, slam in the shout. Never. They were letting vatos sleep in during program time. No. So when we got, look, needless to say, within 30 days, man, there was probably 50 vatos that either locked it up or went on special transfers. It was a damn shame. And you know, and I'm looking at these dudes like, how you letting these vatos, like, how were they here with you and how did they slip away? You know, this isn't a good look. Anyways, there were other things that happened, and then leadership exchanged hands. They kept it amongst their crew and who they put in place. You know, you can watch the video by a Free World Robert that he did about doing time with me, and how we basically respectfully getting at, the guy's his deal, and, talking to him, and, we did it in a peaceful way, but we it was a hostile takeover. You're not doing your job. You don't even know how to do the motherfucker. Instead of whacking you and creating a big old thing, I'm going to get at your guy, because your guy knows me and I know him very well. And things worked out, and the system changed. No more llaveros. And so we put in place, there was 5 of us, right? And everybody equal vote. I was the one that had received the initial go ahead, hey, put this thing together. You pick your crew. And I did. There was a guy. Now, I talked about how they try to turn on me. And I'll say this. Again, I was nobody. I understand that. I just had a lot of responsibilities. I did have the ability to play chess with men, with their lives. And fortunately, I wasn't a snake. I never did nobody dirty. If something happened to you, it's because I had a job to do and you made me do it. Now, out of the crew that we had, this was right before cell phones really took effect. And so there was still the letter writing. You had to send something out, get it back, or you go to visit. I'm not going to get into all that, but there was another way that you could do things. But it was still time consuming. It could take up to a month or more sometimes to get clearance on certain things. Except for me. The other 4 on this mess, they had to go about it that route. I, on the other hand, had the blessings to where basically it was this: do whatever needs to be done inside and on the streets. If it's going to benefit us, do it. Don't wait to write me. Do it and then write me. Let me know what's going on. The only time I really expect a letter from you is if a legend is involved or one of his top soldados. That was my functioning. That's how I function. That's and the other dudes on the crew knew, like, I had been given a blessing that they didn't have. And so usually when something needed to be done, it would go through me. We would vote on it, and then boom, let's do it. And then it was what it was. I should have known. I really thought I had a solid crew around me. I should have known that at some point that would create jealousy. I just didn't function that way because I had met somebody. I remember when I first came in the system, there was a dude. And I'm just going to say he was from Playboys. And I remember hearing somebody say, that vato got that Aztec gold card. And there was people jealous. And that vato didn't even politic. He liked to fucking stab people. He liked to drink more than anything. And he didn't abuse his authority and was still getting hated on. And I should have remembered that later as I was able to, get that same type of love. But anyways, so the first attempt when they tried to figure out a way to, and keep in mind, out of our crew, I was the only one that was hitting my own dope every weekend. I said before I would hit black. Maybe the next weekend I would hit some white. Then I would definitely have to hit some weed because the weed money is like that. The white and black, that money might take a little while. That money spread around. Those guys, they would buy shit everywhere. But the weed money, good money. I was the only one doing that. And I would break them off, every one of them. Didn't ask them what they were doing with it. It's not my business. I used to tell them, excuse me, whatever your relationship, whatever your understanding is with your tío, here you go, Holmes. Enjoy yourselves. It's not my business. Do I think they were taking care of business? No. Maybe they were sending crumbs. I was looking out for a lot of people, not just legends. When I was doing my thing, I had friends. As much of a friend as you can make in prison. I had other dudes that weren't even legends, but they were validated. They were stuck in that damn dungeon, had no way to make money, and I was breaking them off, sending them hundreds at a time. And my generosity was looked at in a way I can't understand. I guess maybe these dudes that were around me wish they were getting that money on top of the fucking dope I was giving them for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we had one individual, part of our crew, that we needed to get a message to the back, to I'd say, and we needed an immediate response. And there was a thing that we could do to ensure that within 30 days max, we would get our response. And one of the dudes on the mess out with us raised his hand. He said, hey, I'm going to go. And we're like, what are you doing, Holmes? Like, you have responsibilities here. And he's like, no, I want to go. So he went. And we had people that were, see, I'm trying to be very careful with what I say, man. But I had a camarada there, and he's a legend now, right? And he was back there, and there was a crew that we had that we were close to that was doing their thing in that sake. And when this guy, he was young, he was a good-hearted dude that was working with us. But he was very inexperienced. And I guess that's part of the reason why he wanted to go to the back. He wanted to experience interacting with certain people. He went back there. And when he came back, he told us, hey, I'm not ready. And we're like, what do you mean? He said, nah, I don't know enough to be sitting beside you guys. I'm not afraid, but I'm not dumb. You know, so I'm going to take a step back. I still support you, Vatos, this and this and that. In most occasions, that right there is a career killer. You don't get washed up, but the fact that you took a step back was usually looked upon as, you know, if he did it this time, he'll do it again. So we're not going to invest any energy in that. Well, I didn't argue it at all, because if you're doing that type of stuff in there and you are at 99% commitment, it's not for you. You can't even be 99.9% in that. It has to be 100. If it's anything under 100, you're going to suffer a severe consequence at some point. So I was like, hey, Holmes, you made up your mind. That's cool. That's between you and who you got to answer to. You know, you got to explain to him why, you know, his position he doesn't have representation anymore. And he's like, no, I'll still send him Fed. I go, but you still have to explain to him. All right, yeah. Well, somehow it was twisted up. These other dudes took it as an opportunity to create friction between me and that guy. Because I've always been the one, I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to talk to you. I'm not going to bullshit you. You know, I used to always tell people, hey, the truth hurts, but a lie gets you killed. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. You ask me something, I'm going to give you the honest truth of what I think, what I feel, what my opinion is. But I started hearing rumors. Prisons like that. People hear something, hey, Holmes, hey, trucha. They're plotting. Okay. And it came down to one day, I see everybody over there on the grass in front of canteen, bottom of the yard, sea facility, New Folsom. And I know this dude, even though he's experienced, he has put in work. He's not inexperienced in that way. It was politically, he wasn't where other people were. Unfortunately, what he did know, he was learning from dolphins and tecatos. See, I didn't use. I was always clear-headed. I didn't get schooled by people who were motivated by the bag. I've never built a relationship based on anything that can be taken away from you. If you're my friend, it's because we have like minds, like interests. I will never be your friend because you have money. That money can disappear. What the fuck is our friendship built on now? I won't be your friend because you have the bag. That can be taken away. What is the foundation we built our fucking relationship on? It's gone. We don't have a fucking foundation. So because this vato was being laced up by vatos that were snakes, that were all about self, it was easy for them to get in his ear. And it was a weird thing, man. I saw him, like I said, one day in front of, they were all down there. And you know, no matter what you do, you're still always going to have a handful of dudes, your little personal crew, your own little wrecking crew that their loyalty is to you. I got you, homie. I don't trust these other vatos that you're working with. Anything goes down, I'm with you. So when I saw everybody down there and I see everybody had their own little crew with them, I strapped up, told my little crew, hey, let's go see what this is. Luckily, the vato, I don't want to, he asked me a question. I answered the question. It was a nothing question. I felt at the end of that little interaction, it was about a 2-minute interaction, and then we both walked away from each other. I felt that because nobody else could hear what was said, it was one of those things where whatever he said he was gonna say is not what he actually said. But see, we were face to face. He knew I was strapped. I know he's strapped. I know everybody around us is strapped, and this is going to be a fucking bloodbath. And I think he knew if I fucking stabbed this dude, he knew if he stabbed me and he didn't kill me, it was going to get very ugly for everybody. Again, not because I was anybody special. Ain't nobody fucking special in prison. I tell you guys all the time, it don't matter how many times your grandma, your mom, your teachers tell you you're special. You go to prison, motherfucker, ain't nothing special about you. So it wasn't because I was special, but I wasn't a snake. My history and my reputation was he don't use drugs. He don't bullshit people. And so these dudes all knew, like, and that's why they used him. They tried to use the guy that was the least experienced to get rid of who they didn't like. And these are dudes I was breaking bread with, like I said. I didn't ask them for nothing. Heroes. There you go. Take care of that. Whatever you do, you and whoever you're working for, that's between you guys, eh? Every week. If they were short on, say, hey, I wasn't able to send me address. I got you. So that these dudes would look good and our thing looks like it's successful. But because of certain insecurities that I can't understand, and I don't even try to think of now because I'm not a part of that life. This video is like all my other videos to show you, to give you a glimpse and how fucking treacherous that shit is. That lifestyle is not for the fucking weak-hearted. It's not for the weak-minded. It ain't for nobody. At the end of the day, it ain't for nobody. You are not going to impress anyone in there by how tough you can talk, how many burpees you could do, how many people you can stab. Everybody has to do that in there. I guarantee you will impress a whole lot of people if you can come up with ways to make legitimate money and take care of your family. If you can start a business and employ people. If you can make an impact, a positive impact on the world and people around you, that shit's impressive. That shit right there is gangster. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.